Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Abby. I warmly welcome you to the Caribbean and to my container garden here in Trinidad and Tobago. This morning, we're going to be doing a garden tour, and this is me just kickstarting our activities for the month of November. So I just want to give you guys an overview of how the garden is looking this morning, and we're going to be doing a bit of harvesting along the way. Now, guys, a lot of things have been happening, and most important, we're keeping on the positive note. I have finally seen so much improvement in the spider mite area. Now, guys, all I can tell you in this area of dealing with a pest infestation is keeping at it, keep treating, keep tackling it until you can see a break in their life cycle. You just have to keep at it. It's highly frustrating, yes, but if you keep at them, they will reduce more and more once you stay on top of it. And that's what I did. Now, spider mites are still in my garden, but as regards the level of infestation, it has reduced to the point where my foliage is looking so much better, guys. And hopefully, from here on out, I can start to get production from my plants and from the garden. Guys, I'm excited. I want to show you the garden this morning, and so we're going to jump right into it. Behind me here, I have some Tanya, I have some dashi, I have behind me here some ginger, and my pineapple, my trough here filled with pineapple plants, and a bit of teas. Now you guys can you see that formation or the different textures of the plants? When you're planting your garden, you want to have, just making sure that they're not crying, but they're making noise. Okay, they're not crying. So you can see the different formation um, in the shapes of the leaves. You can see the textures. And of course, you guys know I'm all about storytelling. You can see how the light filters through and makes it look so beautiful, so aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. So when you're planting your garden, you want to mix in the different shades, different colors, the different oh, Ross. The different things in your garden. And I just wanted to highlight it because that touches me every time I watch it. This is what I see. What you see behind me is what I see when I am in the back here. So I have here also some lemongrass that I have to harvest because we use all of the lemongrass that we had, and so I need to cut this back. This is probably the last time you're going to see it looking for the year. Yeah, this is the last time you're going to see it looking so full because I'm going to have to harvest my garden because I'm not just growing it for shows, I'm growing it to produce food for the family. So I'm going to have to cut this back and put it to dry, and that will be our lemongrass for a, for a while. And I prefer when I dry it, I find the flavors are more pronounced and they're more smooth, more mature. I don't know how to explain it, but I really prefer it when we dry it. And the gingers, they are all flowering, so pretty soon, probably in the month of December or January, those two will be harvested and it will become bare again. And that's fine, that's okay. You just replenish the soil, plant some more, and wait for it to come back like this. But for now, we're going to enjoy it in its glory as it's looking right now. It looks so good. Above me, taking up the tripod. Above me here is the passion fruit. It has finally reached all the way to the top, and I put this piece of leftover BRC, as we call it, on the top there to support the passion fruit vine on the top there. Passion fruit takes about a year and a half before it starts to produce, and so that's going to take a minute before we can get some fruit from that. But for now, we have set the foundation. The passion fruit is up and running right there. So from this angle, guys, this is how the Tanya is looking. We have the dashade, and we also have an okra in the back there. And we have this okra here um in the pineapple trough, some lemongrass, more ginger. I'll come here and I'll clean out that okra, the passion fruit as mentioned, pineapple, and more ginger, guys. Now I wanted to show you the planting. Now up there, the leaves of the planting in the center are getting shorter and shorter, and I think that's an indication of it getting ready to bloom. And that would be so good. That would be excellent to have planting coming in there. We also have right here, guys, okra. Look how tall that is. It's super tall and it's still bearing. You can see right there. It is still bearing, guys. And we're all for it. We're all for food. That's what we're growing our container gardens to do. We're growing it so that we can get food from it. Not just for show, but for it to be productive and a real contributing factor in our lives, in our grocery bills, in our health. That's why we do the things we do. Here in this little alley where we get little sunlight, I planted plants that could handle it. So I have a fern here that I cut back because I was dealing with the spider mites. The spider mites were in this a lot, and so I kept cutting it back and treating. And also this one, so they're all starting to fold back out. This one, the spider mite wasn't on this, but this is a beautiful plant. I just love that. It's just so beautiful, the foliage on that. So you can see what I'm trying to do here, guys. You know, the different textures, the different, shapes of leaves. You can see that I'm trying to create artwork with the plants. On this side as well, these are all ornamentals because not many plants that are food producing do well in this area. So I devoted it to a lot of ornamentals. I transplanted the pink morning glory here. It's still not very happy at the moment, but we'll see if it pulls out and do well here. Let's wait and see. But that's how this corner is going. Here the sugar cane is getting taller and taller and taller and taller. It's doing so well as well, but it has a lot of mealybugs. So I'm hoping that I can find some time to deal with them and go from there. I'm now seeing a lizard scaring away the wasp and the bees from the sugar cane. By the way, did you know that bees follow sugarcane? I didn't know that until I noticed it lately, and I find that that's so intriguing to see bees buzzing all along the sugarcane. That was so cool to see. Because of the brickwork here, especially in the rainy season, it gets moldy, it gets all that green algae on it. So I took some wandering dew, hoping that I can get it to grow over the brick and hide all that, moss and algae, something that I cannot control. I'm hoping that I can hide it with the wandering Jew hanging over here. So that's what I've done here to try and, make this whole area good. Now, these plastic bags that you're seeing here, guys, these were the last set of bedding from the last meat birds. And I didn't want to get rid of it, so I just put it in plastic bags to contain the scent and for it to break down, doing its thing. Out of the two plantain suckers that I planted, this one did not come, but this one did, and I'm fine with that. It's shooting and it is doing great. This elephant ear, I so love it. It has a velvet touch to it. Can you see the velvetness in it? It is so beautiful, guys. This is a full shade. This does really well in shade, elephant ears. Above us, we have the Barbadine. So we have these two Barbadines. A part of the vine died. I don't know why. And so these fruit, they are immature and they're just here yellowing. So I'm going to have to take those down and prune the vine. But these two plants, there's just some kind of a dirt or something on it. These two fruits we are going to harvest today. this one as well, because this one is yellow and you can see it's starting to ripe. So I'm just going to take it off the vine. Well, we'll see. I might leave that one or take those two for sure, and we will bring those inside. Here in this trough here, guys, I planted out some cilantro, and waiting to see the new true leaves are now coming through, and so I'm hoping that I can get those to come because those are cool loving plants. But cilantro in a sandwich or a taco, that is amazing, guys, and it's quite expensive for a few sprigs. So I'm trying to get this to grow to see how I can get these to come by. Here is mustard greens. This has a nutty flavor. We tend to like this in sandwiches. So I do a quick stir up of this. Not very long, probably half a minute at most. And we stir this up and we put this in our sandwiches. It's a green that has a nutty flavor that we so adore. We adore the mustard greens a lot. The dill is still straggling. I planted some more seeds, so I'm hoping that they come by. Now these cucumbers are not doing so good, so I'm going to rip out these soon, and we will think about what we can put here. For now, I'm not going to put back any cucumbers in this area. The kids are outside. Would you believe me if I told you it's 7 o'clock? They're outside. They're outside, guys, and you're going to hear background noise. Okay, so over here is my butternut squash. I planted it in, as you can see, the compost bin, because everybody says grow your pumpkins and squashes in your compost bin. So we are trying that out this time. I put some soil on the top, a good foot deep of soil, and I planted it, and these guys are looking so good here. So we'll see how it goes from there. I plan to run it up here onto the trellis above, and I hope it so. Again, some more ornamentals. You guys can see I still have my mess, my cleanup to do. My ornamentals. Above us here is the cucumber that I was successful in saving, and you can still see I'm tackling the lighting from this angle. You can't see, but I'm still tackling the spider mite on this plant. Here, I'm still dealing with, spider mites, but I'm not giving up. Not giving up at all. And we will just keep at it until we can fully eradicate them from the garden. I planted some dill in the corner here that I need to transplant pretty soon. I would leave 1 or 2 plants here, but I'm going to have to try and transplant some of them in other places in the garden. My morning glory was also taken over by the spider mite, but I've been able to, you see that, guys? I've been able to keep them off of the morning glory, and I'm waiting to see what color morning glory is this. Before it gets too hot, because it's ready. You can see it's a large eggplant. I love this variety. One got broken?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so now that I'm finished the chores, I got breakfast in the oven. We're back out to do this, finish this tour. So this is my morning glory here, guys. It is doing wonderfully. It is pulling out quite well. And look, you're seeing a wasp. It's doing really well, guys. I've been able to deplete the spider mite stuff where the foliage is looking so much better, guys, on majority of the plants. The stevia, it's been going to flower. I couldn't keep up, guys, so I still use it and put it in teas to sweeten my teas, and it is doing quite well. This one surviving plant did really, really, really well. Really recommend buying and getting a stevia plant. Here in this country, guys, I have peppers. This is an older plant. This is a purple bell, and I'm waiting to see if it bounces back. And these are two new California wonders that are doing really well here as well. I think with these ones, I had stripped them of all their leaves. I think the ones in that container over there, I'm going to do the same thing to see if that helps them recover from all the spider mite issues on it currently. In this container over here, I have two zinnias. I'm not too sure the color. You can see that they're not in the best of condition, all of them, but they'll bounce back. I'm confident they will do well. Here is my white zinnia. Loving this plant, and it's a triple petal. I think this is a California giant as well. And these are doing really, really well. I'm so happy to have them. You guys remember when I planted out this crop with you? I planted 5 sweet potatoes um, initially, but then after watching videos, I saw a young man. He had one single plant in a very big raised garden, and that one plant filled the whole thing with sweet potatoes, and he was in the climate. So I said I will put two alone. So I have these two in here. So I have one here and the smaller one there that is now starting to vine up. And I'm seeing baji and pepper plants. So I'm going to leave them all to come up and grow where they want to grow. Volunteers, in my opinion, do so much better. So I'm just going to leave those baji and stuff we can give to the chickens, and also the peppers that we can get peppers over here. So this is an eggplant in the corner of that trough. You can see the foliage on it is doing so well, guys. I am so thrilled by the progress I am making. Here I have a I don't talk about it much, but sometimes you feel like when you talk about something, it jinxes it. But this is a cabbage plant and it's heading up. It has a nice firm center there, so I am just leaving that and letting it do its thing. Over here we have some plants that my daughter planted for school. I gave her tomato plants to plant instead. So she planted some purple cayenne, which came up, some tomatoes. She also planted broccoli plants. I'll show you guys that in a minute. Over here, these are some volunteer baji, but over here I had just spread some seeds from a ripe jalapeno here, and all of them came up, and I have no idea where I'm going to put them all, but we'll figure that out sometime in the future. Over here we have a Suriname cherry. It's looking a bit yellow on the top, so I think I will give it some nutrients soon. Here is the tomato plant that my daughter planted. I'm not too sure if this is the yellow pear or if this is the mahogany. I guess when it's fruiting, we will find out what type of fruit that is. This container, we need to uppot this plant. It is screaming for room, and I need to figure out a way to get it out of this pot into a bigger pot. This is the what's called this? The rose, the Confederation rose. Over here, this chili plant, I've never seen it in good condition, guys. I'm struggling with it constantly. Again, you can see the infestation on it, but it's blooming. I'm still treating it and I'm leaving it, guys. I win some, I lose some. Over here again, my another ornamental section here in that corner. This tomato tree, I was going to try a sulfur experiment on it. I just never got around to it, guys, honestly. So I just chop off the part that was looking diseased and it's resprouting. It's still not looking great, but I'm leaving it. See what happens. That's going to be a see what happens project. Here is the Mexican sunflower. Let me come a better angle away from the sun. So this is the Mexican sunflower, and today it opened its first bloom, and I am happy. I'm hoping that I really can attract more and more bees into the garden, and I'm seeing more buds that is going to bloom up more, and I'm going to keep feeding it so that it keeps blooming beautifully for us. This pimento tree in this sack as well is doing good. The Mexican sunflower and the pimento is in this sack, and it is doing really well. So we have some peppers that we need to get off of this tree this morning, and I am just going to throw these into, where's my basket? I'm just going to throw these into a freezer bag and throw them in the freezer because it freezes them at its best. And that's how I've been able to save gallons and gallons and gallons of these peppers, guys, is by keep picking every time and putting them in a Ziploc bag, a freezer bag in the freezer. Off camera, I picked this one off the pawpaw tree. I've got in total, guys, 6 pawpaw off of that tree. So happy. So we're going to have that tomorrow morning for breakfast. But for now, we are harvesting peppers, guys. Now these trees have lots and lots of blooms coming on them. Something came by and bit that one. So as I was saying, these ones have lots and lots of blooms looking to come by on it. And I hope that they really keep on producing lots of blooms coming on. So I'm hoping that with the spider mite issue at a reduction, that it will do a whole lot better. The blooms, guys, the blooms, they're so gorgeous. The different shades is so wonderful. These also are my morning glory. I just love them. Just love them, guys. I just wish that they were a longer lasting bloom. I stuck a stick in here. As you guys would know, did you notice something different here? Did you notice something different here, guys? I moved that trellis from the front here because nothing was growing on it, one. And to be honest, my husband hated it. So it was a source of argument. So I just moved it for peace. And so that we could continue loving on each other. And again, nothing was growing on it. So it wasn't really worth it. So I that trellis, and now I don't have anything supporting this rather tall. I want it to be tall. As I tell you guys, you can tell that I'm trying to get different heights. I'm trying to get different shades, different textures, and I want this morning glory to be tall. Hi, Mr. Butterfly. So I stuck this piece of stick in here, hoping that I can use a thread and or something to tie it up and support this plant a bit more. And underneath I put another one of these blooms. Does anybody know the name of this plant? I really don't know the name of it, but it is a beautiful flower. Again, this one doesn't last all day. It opens in the morning and by evening it's gone. I wish I had more that would stay blooming, that the whole day, whole night I could come out here and be mesmerized by them all. But then that's the beauty about variety. Some plants, they bloom everlastingly and some for a time. Over here, guys, I have my petunia. This is another variation of that plant. This is the same plant, just a different, the same kind of, variety, same type of plant. And this bloom is so gorgeous, guys. What I like about this one especially is that it has all that pollen that would attract those bees to the garden. Isn't that gorgeous? It's like a mini hibiscus. It's gorgeous. Petunia, I finally got one in my favorite color, and it is giving me life. And so I'm sharing it with you guys this morning. Oh, look at this one. Look how this bloom came out. Now that is something that is beautiful. And this one is on the edges. Wow. So I have these blooms. These are in pots, but I rested in the citrus container just to fill this blank space, just to, again, we are creating art with this foliage. I have some celosia, so the celosia will be in the backdrop here. These tall flowers coming down with these bigger blooms, so that they cascade down, create that nice waterfall effect. These ones, I think I will move more to the front because these are hiding and you're not really seeing the beauty of the purple. If I could shift it. But these are the butterfly bush. And yeah, I think that would be much better. And the celosia in the back, so because that's taller. So I have to find a way to put that so that it doesn't get lost in the back there. But you guys get the drift I'm trying to do right here in this container. Now, this is a lemon tree. I pruned it back heavily. As you can see, I cut it off over here. I cut the lemon tree, guys. It was super tall and it was tied onto the trellis and I needed to support it. So I trimmed it. I also trimmed this one. This is supposed to be a different type of lemon and it is shooting already. So I'm feeling it. At first I was nervous, but now I'm pretty okay with it. Over here is my celery suitcase. And I told you guys that it is coming out of the spider mite infestation. You can see how big the stalks are getting. You can see that it is doing rather okay right now. I also have more petunias, this deep, glorious purple. Now these are blooming. So my hope with this one is that this one grows and drops down here, so that again it creates that waterfall effect. Over here is my amaranth bed or baji bed. This one is the one that you get on the side of the road. It's blooming already. Pinch out those flowers. So these are what we're going to use for our personal eating. I like to have these things off the ground because, like I said, we have slugs, and also I have chickens who sometimes splash up and stuff like that. I prefer that they are clean. I find that when you have them up off the ground, they're clean and lovely to eat, not a whole set of washing and sanitation that has to take place in order to cook them up. So I love this whole thing is doing so wonderfully, densely planted, so no room, not much room for weeds. Of course, those shine bushes, they find their way everywhere. But that's what's happening here. The celery, baji, these are what I'm going to be using, start harvesting from in order to add to green juices for the special one, my husband and his drinks. The panna tree is doing fairly all right. The birds, they wave it, they rate it every day. But it's doing really good in there as well. I have a Cuban thyme. I'm trying my hardest to get this thing to grow, but I'm leaving it. It's alive. I'm leaving it. See what happens. Hopefully it grows out of there. That will be one of the major pollinator attractors, especially when in bloom. The bees tend to love the herbal flowers more than anything else. Yeah, so down here I have my shadow benny or culantro container. Again, the spider mites was, you would think that nothing would love to eat that, but no, guys, the spider mites was all over that. And as you can see, the foliage is doing a whole lot better. Even on this as well, it is doing really well down here. So I don't have to buy these things to make my own seasoning. In fact, in an upcoming video, I will share with you guys what I do with my seasonings. I will show you guys what I do in my seasoning, how I pick it and store it for the times when I don't have plants. I find that when you develop a healthy way of preserving plants, it's really good. It turns out for the better later down. So as you can see, I wheeled this thing out. It's an old vacuum container. So I have a pot with wheels, guys. I'll save my back some. And what I have in here is a pak choy, a tomato that's blooming. That's supposed to be the local one called the Calypso tomato. And I've seen a bit of blight. So I'm gonna take off this off of the flowers, and off of the plants. And down here I have my lone surviving parsley, guys. Oh, parsley is so hard. It rots every time, but this one seems to be, enjoying life right there. So happy about that. Over here, my flower that I got on the side of the road is bouncing back. I will keep feeding it. You guys ever wondered what a leaf miner fly looks like? This is what it looks like, guys. Leaf miner fly right there. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus. And down here is the onions that we transplanted. And they seem to be bouncing back okay. We're going to leave them and see what happens of them. So right now, out of the 7, I think 5 have survived. So we'll see what happens of these plants. Over here is my fine thyme that I planted, propagated from what I bought from the grocery. And over here, my eggplant, some watermelon. And over here, guys, in this 50-gallon container, I have my pawpaw, and it's fruiting. And I have more flowers and another zinnia here. We'll see how that goes. I give it some water this morning. This is the condition of my sorrel, guys, is what I was mentioning. It's sad. It's so sad. So sad. So I'll pull that up and I'll put a tomato in there in replace of that. Behind me here is I have peppers, turmeric, ginger, red cabbage, green cabbage, some edos, mustard green. I think a celery in the back there as well. But this trough is also doing really well as well. Bouncing back really well. Another ornamental. Yeah. If you enjoyed the video, guys, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and share with your friends and family who would love the encouragement to grow in their own garden. As well as I'm going to be sharing with you guys my experience finishing growing out these meat birds. So throughout the next 3 weeks, I will share with you guys my meat bird raising experience from midway to harvest to table, well, to the freezer camp. And hopefully that this would give someone, even if it's one person, an insight into what goes on in taking care of your own chickens for the table. Anyway, until we see each other, take care and have a great week ahead. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Oh, Gio.